What is up, guys? Welcome in. My name is Nick and welcome to the channel. You join me today at Suzuka. We are in the touring car lobby and we are behind the wheel of the new to Forza Peugeot 308 here, just completing our first flying lap with a not particularly competitive 2:15, and it was an invalid lap as well. So we shall be going again, and as we go through the first couple of corners here, we do manage to make up a fair bit of time as well already, just over a tenth through those two corners alone, getting that up to just over 4/10 after the S's. Through the Deglers, we improved that once again to 1.2 seconds after the hairpin on the way down to Spoon. That's up to 1.6. Now, Spoon has always been a corner I struggle with, and as you see here, I don't quite go as far out to the right as I should have. That leaves the second part of the corner a bit tighter than I would have liked, meaning that we get a little bit of mid-corner understeer, and slow on the throttle means we're going to lose time all the way down the back straight. We'll be at 1.5 as we come out of Spoon curve after 130R at 1.3, but a good run through the Casio triangle sees us to a 1.8 second improvement and a 2:13.2. Currently about just over a second clear of P2 based on current qualifying performance. However, we're going here for a third lap, and you can see that just coming through the S's here, we are already getting a warning for moderate tyre wear. So this is not going to be an improvement at all. I thought I would complete the lap just as an investigation, and you see after the hairpin, so 2.5 laps just over, we are already down to severe tyre wear and down 1.2 seconds on our PB. As we come through the final bit here, you can see there's no grip left in these tyres at all. This bars are completely empty in the bottom right corner, and we are just over 5 seconds slower on that third lap. So this Peugeot seems to chew tyres, or at least the setup I have on it seems to chew the tyres up pretty goddamn quick. Now, with the time we set, because we didn't improve on the final lap, we're going to be starting from P4. Just a reminder, we are at a skill rating of 4.705 after the last couple of races, and maintaining that S grade safety ranking. So starting from the grid here, we've got a couple of MGs and another Peugeot in front of us here. We're going to be getting away nice and cleanly, and just looking to see if we can hold on to P4 and maybe pick up a free couple of positions if anyone gets into a bit of trouble in front of us. Coming through the first corners, we stay to the right hand side. The Peugeot dives down a little bit on us, so we let out a little bit through the second part of the first complex here. Being as he is in a Red Bull livery, he does try to box out the MGs and then gets all wrong through the beginning of the S's, comes back onto the track without applying any form of brakes at all, clips the rear quarter of the MG, spins him round, and we are up to P2. So there we go, nice and easy move up to a podium position early on in this race. Through the first couple of corners, we've already gapped the main field by just over 3 seconds. I'm just going to try and hang on with this MG, but I think the MG does seem to be a bit of a stronger car. Now those tick-ins, you may have just noticed that we're actually going to end the race before the end of lap 1. So this is one of those race bugs where the race actually finished at the end of the, well, as the light went green basically, but it says we got P2, but we're actually going to be awarded P1 for some reason, and with that comes a boatload of free safety rating, so of skill rating. So we get 4.751 is actually going to be our true starting position going through to today's races. So we will forget that Suzuka ever happens, and welcome to VIR. Not going to qualify in this one, mostly because I'm sure most of you are aware turn 1 on VIR is an absolute fustercluck of shenanigery and poor driving. So we are going to be starting right from the very back, P24 of 24, and we are going to try the hard tyres on this one. We're going to see if we can get through this without making a pit. Now in the Peugeot it might not be possible because of the enhanced tyre wear, but if I'm going to do it, I'm starting at the back already, this seems to be the race to do it. So we're just going to be looking to just avoid any and all confrontation like we are seeing on the right hand side here on the way down to turn 1. We've got a free position off the grid as well, so we're already up to P22 before we make the first corner. The first corner turns into a car park basically. There is smoke, it is dark, I can't see a goddamn thing, we're getting driven about all over the place, cars sliding off left and right, there's a boatload of cars off to the left hand side. We're up to P15 through the first corner. Guy rejoining the track there gives us another free position to P14, and as we come down under the Michelin bridge towards the near 180 right hander that goes up the hill, there is a load of cars off to the left once again, all misjudging their braking points or getting involved in some form of altercation. So we're up to P11. At this point you'll notice there is a little bit of a flashback here from the Oreo liveried Audi. Long-term viewers of the channel will probably remember the absolute unhinged psychopath we encountered here a few weeks back in this Oreo Audi that you are seeing right now, and as you can see, murder followed him everywhere he went. So I've got an immediate twitch, just like, oh dear God, please no. but it turns out it was actually a different person, just with similar taste in stickers. So we're going to get a free position over the Civic, as he had a bad run through the fiddly bit at the top of the hill. The fiddly bit is twice as difficult, at least in the dark, because you just can't see your landmarks. It's a pain in the backside. I found it catches me out multiple times in this race. As we come through the downhill section, a load of people ended up carrying straight on, so they were joining the track and we are gaining on them as well. The Oreo car tries to box us out a little bit. We do the cutback, and in the process of that we actually managed to get all the way up to P6, because once again loads of people misjudging just how tight that corner is, driving off into the grass, and we're getting a load of free positions. So as I say, the main focus of this race here is not pushing for early positions. We're not worried about where we're going to end up on track. There's something going on in the rear view mirror here. I'm not really sure what's going with P7. Oh, okay, that's what's going on. We've got just guy being I'm fast as fuck boy driving down here and clouting the MG as we come through the final corner. So we're actually going to be P5. So we've gone from P24 to P5 through the first lap just by avoiding incidents. So yeah, as I was saying, the main focus for this one is not going to be contesting people for every last position. As you see here, we mess up the fiddly bit at the top of the hill. I'm just really going to concede this position to the Audi because I don't really want to lose any more time than I need to. We're looking to make these tyres last, so we want to be as gentle as we can while maintaining a good average speed but not getting caught up in any form of scrap. So I'm not looking to fight everyone. This person behind me is definitely trying to fight me for this position. I'm trying to just get out of the way, but he keeps clouting me and we just keep getting spun out. So just going to end up holding position. It's the MG, I think, that took an absolute punting in the final corner of the first lap. So I'm not really going to fight him too much, but he does end up backing off. We mess up the last corner coming through here towards the end of lap 2, and we are going to get outgunned on the way down to the first corner by the Peugeot on our right hand side here. So we're breaking on all position off to the left. We almost managed to get the cutback happen without even meaning to, really. If I'd been a bit more aggressive, I probably could have got that position back, but yeah, we're not really interested at this point. We just want to try and get through and make as little mistakes as possible, which we're going to immediately fail on, because I'm going to completely misjudge my braking point and slide off into the grass and back down to P9. So yeah, we've got all free position there on the Audi on the left hand side, so that's actually P8. Apologies, I did get that wrong there. And yeah, so look, another free position of someone going off onto the right hand side. So there are still positions to be made in this one here. We're just going to try and avoid any and all confrontation, and we're just looking for shortest overall length in terms of race time. So at the end of lap 3, we have a load of people pitting. That's quite early. Well, no, it's about, we're halfway, aren't we? Yeah, so yeah, about a good time to get off the mediums if you are on them now. In terms of our tyre wear, we're not looking great, it must be said. We're only at sort of halfway through lap 4, and we are under half tyre wear on our fronts here as we get caught out once again at the top of the hill in the fiddly bit by another Audi, they're just absolutely sending it around the outside there. So he was desperate to try and get that move done. We've come up to the back of another Peugeot who apparently has also run out of tyres. I'm assuming he's on the mediums, so that extra lap has really not helped him out at all. So this Peugeot, it doesn't just seem to be my tune that is particularly wearing on tyres. It just seems to be a car that burns through its fronts pretty quickly. See, the rear's still got loads of tread left on it, but as we come around through the first part of this lap 5, we are already getting warnings for moderate tyre wear. We end up with very little grip coming down the downhill section. We have to take across the grass here and pick up a 0.8 of a second penalty. Got another car coming through here who has pit, so we're not going to hold him up at any point. We're not really fighting for him. We at this point realise that we are going to need to pit. As we're coming down the back straight here, we get severe tyre wear just as we start coming down the hill towards the last couple of corners, and yeah, we're going to bail on the no pit strategy because we're just not going to have any grip. We're going to lose so much time over this last lap, so we're going to go for a pair of softs here just for a quick splash and dash and see if we can maintain as best position as we can. But being in pit lane, it would be wrong if I weren't to ask you to drop a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you're enjoying, what you would like to see improved, and any ideas for videos in the future, and subscribe for plenty more content if you are enjoying what I'm making so far. So as we come out onto the racetrack once again, we are P7. We're looking to maintain that. We had someone attempting to fly around the outside there into turn 1, so we hold position there. We've got a lot more grip than he has because he's been on his tyres for a lot longer than I have. We get another free position coming up through the right-hander here, and we're up to P6, but that's going to be about as much as we can get. If we had another lap, we might have managed to get another position or two there, but yeah, putting in on lap 5 was probably the the beginning of end of lap 4, beginning of lap 5 was probably the better option, but still 18 position improvement from last to P6 is nothing to complain about either. So for our final race, we will be at Catalunya circuit here, the full Grand Prix configuration. It is once again going to be another night race. This time we're going to throw some fog in for the mix as well, just to make it a bit more difficult. Now, apologies, I did screw up the recording on this one. I didn't seem to capture the qualifying, but we will be starting P5, so we are at the front end of the grid. The goal for this one is going to be to try and get onto the podium. It's going to be a bit difficult. I don't think the Peugeot's got the greatest of straight line speed, so I think the advantage will be to the Audis and the MGs in this one. The MG does seem to be pretty good in a straight line, but we get away nice and cleanly. We get a lot better start than the Lynk & Co off on our left-hand side, so we will power down into T1 and get that position done before we get anywhere near the apex. Slotting in here, braking just before the 100, putting ourselves sort of front middle of the track. We get a little bit of tap from the Audi that was looking up our inside, so we're a little bit compromised through second part. Cars behind us start squabbling, and we're looking to see if we can gap those as quickly as possible to stay with this leading group. The black and yellow Audi gets it the long right-hander all kinds of wrong and drives into the back of the white Audi in front of him and gets driven off the circuit by conservation of momentum. And as we come down into the chicane, the MG gets it all out of shape and goes very, very wide through the first part here. That gives the Audi the chance to dive up the inside towards the quick right-hander at the top of the hill. We're looking to see if we can capitalise on anything, but they managed to get through that corner relatively cleanly. The MG drop in position to the Audi. We have got someone else behind us very, very close, only within about 0.3 of a second. Have a little slide up the inside. I don't really think anything was on there, and we look to see if we can get the cut back on it, but the Audi cuts back on us, stopping us being able to carry as much momentum as I was hoping for here. A potential look around the outside, but I can see the Audi's also sniffing up our inside. I didn't want to get boxed out here, so I let off to see if I can just slide back into this train here and not get capitalised by that Audi that just hit me there behind me. So that little punt gives me a little bit of an extra run off there, so we're just looking to maintain as much of the speed as we can through this final corner, get a much better run out of that across down the start finish line, so that gives us enough to hold on to in going into turn 1. And yeah, basically we're getting a little bit of pressure from this Audi behind us initially. Just looking to make sure we can gap him here. The Lynk is looking to see if he can get back into that fight there. The Audi gets that right hander all kinds of wrong and drops down by about a second, so we don't really need to worry about him so much anymore. The MG on the second lap again gets the chicane all kinds of wrong. As we come up the hill, we managed to get that move done before we have to turn in. So beginning of lap 3, we are looking to see if we can close down on P2, but we're not really shaking the MG behind us. We get a very silly penalty there, just trying to maximise the entry into the corner and picking up a 0.4 of a second penalty, which will become very pivotal in the final classifications, as you'll soon come to see. We get the last corner all kinds of wrong. This gives the MG a much better run through this section here. I'm all kinds of out of shape and out of position. We try and maximise as much as we can through the final corner, but the MG is just going to have a much better run on me down into turn 1. He's going to get the move done before even the end of the pit lane, and as we break it around the 100 board coming into the corner, we are going to have to settle for third for this part of the race. So we're getting close to pit window. The tyres are just dropping into minor tyre wear on our front left, and by the time we go through the last couple of corners, it's across both front tyres. I'm going to opt to see if I can get an extra lap out of these ones just to have fresher tyres at the end, so I can maybe attack, because we're not really going to lose anything in terms of position. I don't think we're going to come out any later, any further back than third anyway, so we might as well see if we can get an overrun and fight for second in the dying bits of this race here. So we don't have the greatest of final laps, as we see. As we come through the final corner, we dip into severe tyre wear, so it's going to be real difficult just to get this thing into the pit lane. Now we are dropping a lot of time, and we're just going to dive into pit lane here. We have to basically get the car to a complete standstill before the front tyres will grip up and I can pull in. But we are now going to see if we can go on to mediums. I think even still with 3 laps we've seen before, softs just won't last, so unfortunately it's still a medium strategy, but we weren't able to get a free lap on the softs unfortunately in this one here. So coming back out onto the track here, we are going to be P3, but that's because there is also someone else doing a no stopper. So there's the MG that we pitted behind. We are a couple of seconds back from what we were, so we didn't really gain anything on that, but as I say, we weren't at risk of losing our P3 anyway, but this might give us a chance to close in by having 1 lap fresher tyres than the guy in front of us at the closing end of the race here. So main focus now is just to try and close in this gap. We don't really make any headway over the first lap. We got it down to 1.4, but by the time down the straights it was up to 2 seconds there, because it's got a much faster straight line speed than my Peugeot does. But we do catch up to the non-pitting traffic, so that does slow the MG up a bit. We are within now a second. As we come over the top of the hill, we had to find a gap between him and the apex, just about manage to slide the car through there so we don't get caught up through the very quick right-hander. And as you can see, coming into the final lap, we've got a second to make up in this last lap here. I'm hoping the MG has used most of its tyres here. It does seem to be that way through the first couple of corners. We've gained a 10th. Coming into the left-hander before the downhill section, we are within half a second. We seem to be a lot better on the brakes as well than the MG. Up through the fast right-hander at the top of the hill, we carry enough momentum there just to use all of the track, and we're now within 0.3 of a second. He's going very defensive on the left-hand side, pulls over to get his braking point. We're not worried about making a dive into this bit here. I just want to get the car turned as quickly as possible. We managed to get it in, holding the inside line. That gives us the run through towards the right-hander here. We leave a little bit of space just to see if he's on the inside, but it looks like I've got the move done. We look to see if we can just gap him. We need to make 0.4 of a second. We've got 0.3 of a second so far. Coming through the long effectively double right-hander, we're still at 0.3 of a second. Not quite got the gap. Coming through the final corner, just looking to maximise as much as we can, getting on the throttle as early as I dared. It's flicking right around 0.3, 0.4. It's currently sat at 0.4, starts flicking to 0.3, 0.4 again, and as we cross the line, it was P3. We didn't quite manage to get 0.4 of a second, unfortunately, but we are going to be on the podium, so that is the main thing. So the difference was 0.02 of a second overall in that final bit of the race there, so very, very close to getting P2. We do get a nice improvement to 4.785 safety rating, so just shy of 4.8k, again maintaining the S safety ranking. So yeah, that has been the Peugeot, guys. It's a pretty quick car, seems to be. I've got a good tune on it. I don't know if I can tune the tyre wear out of it a bit, but it might not be the one I'm going to be using too often. I'm not particularly happy with, at least at the moment, how quick it's chewing these tyres up. So if you did enjoy that one, drop me a like, leave me a comment, and obviously subscribe for more in the future. The video you see on the left here is the last time we went out in the Honda, and we decided to start taking the fight to the RS3 domination in the public lobbies. On the right hand side is my playlist for all of my Forza videos. Do click on that and see if you can find something you like. Thank you for watching, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.